Hey, Patreon, I'm able to get on here, but this was not my plan for a post today. It wasn't my plan to go live. I had a drink. There it is. It also wasn't my plan to talk about this. As a matter of fact, I had a different picture I'd taken that I was going to post. I'll probably post it tomorrow now. It's just a really cool picture of my Gaboon Viper, Lilith, who just shed. Still sitting in their shed, actually. It's kind of neat. But, let me get set down. It's kind of a clickbait title because I want everybody to watch this. I want you to watch it if you don't catch it live. So that's why you see the title you see, because we are going to talk about my plans for clutch number 9. Now, the reason this came about today is because Patreon's still not working for whatever reason. I can't post a video link, so you just got to click on the link. 7 of you, 8 of you now found it, so it must be working. So I came in today, and you guys know that clutch has been a struggle. So let me tell you what I mean by that. Clutch has been a struggle, more so than any clutch I think I've ever had. We've had feed issues with that clutch. Um, Also, the Klitz clutch this year, but we only had 4 babies. We had some problems with that, which we've already told you about. But there was only 4 of them, so that was a little bit more expected. One of them being born very small, and then one of them just surprised me and didn't do well when it was doing pretty decent. But clutch number 9, we've had to assist feed almost the entire clutch, which I've honestly never had to do. Not like this. So, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 snakes that have been eating on their own. Uh, so that's one of the reasons why there's been some delays in it. Well, today I came in and then checking on that clutch, uh, I found the zebra bee had also passed away. And it's kind of a strange thing because that was an animal that, when I say assist, I mean all we're really doing for these, we're having to kind of start them, get the head, and then they're taking them the rest away on their own. And in my experience, when an animal does that, when it's able to go, oh, this is food, and take it, and then it's producing the waste, which that was producing the waste, it did have a little bit of an impaction issue, but we cleared that, and that was several weeks ago that we got that dealt with. So like, all was going well. But it has also passed. Yeah, a lot of them have pooped. That one had pooped like multiple times, along with several others that have pooped. So they have been pooping. We've had a few impaction issues out of that clutch. Like that clutch has just been a fight. But what that brings me to is I wanted to tell you guys this before we do a clutch update or anything on it. And, we'll skip around in numbers as we go, like sometimes happens. Our next one's 8, and people are going to be waiting on 9. What I'm going to be doing with clutch 9 at this point is we still have about half the clutch left. But because of the amount of problems we've seen in that clutch at this point, I plan on holding the rest of that clutch back for an extended amount of time. That doesn't mean they're all going to be holdbacks. Not at all. I still want to. Thank you. We won't take long, Patrick. This is meant to be kind of a short video. We don't want to keep all of them, but I want to make sure that there's no underlying issues, because my belief now is it's something developmental with that clutch. I'm not worried about it being the dad. I'm not worried about it being the mom. I highly doubt the pairing's a problem, although it is possible, but we are going to repeat that pairing. So if we have the same issues with that pairing next year, that would tell me there's an issue in the pairing and we would avoid that pairing in the future. But, off of one, I'm not going to base that. It could have been something with the mom. It could have been, any number of things that could have caused some developmental issues. But I do think, when we lost the first one, which was the killer, and we thought it was probably just an isolated developmental issue, and that happens. But because of the rest of the problems with that clutch, I'm starting to wonder if there wasn't a developmental issue within that clutch. So, because of that, we don't know the full effect of it, and we don't know, did it affect every baby across the board, and has everything kind of got something wrong? Is it just a little weaker? We got to get it past that. We don't really know. So with that, we're going to hold that clutch a little tighter, just to make sure that before we release it, uh, we know we're releasing something that we can be proud of. The last thing, and it's going to happen sometimes, I'm going to release an animal and then it's not going to do well a few weeks later. You produce this many animals, that's going to happen. I mean, it's part of the deal, but we should strive to not have that happen. And so I'm not going to release that clutch like I normally would with knowing or believing, I shouldn't say knowing, it's all kind of an educated guessing game, but with believing that there's possibly some developmental issues in there until I get them figured out and know that, okay, these things are eating on their own, they're pooping on their own, we're going to have to go well past our normal 80 grams with them. I mean, this will probably be a clutch that you're not going to see until 2020 get released. That doesn't mean, but I want to, it doesn't mean we're going to plan on keeping them all, okay? It doesn't mean that at all. It just means I want to make sure if I release those, that I'm releasing a product I can be proud of. Why I don't think it's either individual snake. Uh, the mom and dad was our zebra bee, which is Zeus, and it is a related pairing. It's Zeus to his mother. The original parents that produced him though were unrelated and from different locations, so we're not overly inbred on that. I've also used Zeus to produce other clutches with success. He produced another clutch this year that honestly gave us very few problems. I want to say it was about an 8 or 9 egg clutch. And I've had 2 babies out of that clutch that uh, we've had to assist feed. They were just kind of slow starters. One of them I'm still waiting to send to Martok if he's on here, but that one's eating on its own now. It's eating great. It's just got to put on a little more weight. So he's fathered another clutch. And then, of course, I've had multiple clutches from her and never had this issue, which is why I'm leaning towards it's likely not a problem with mom individually or dad individually. It's possible the pairing has an issue, although one pairing would not tell me that, hey, these two snakes can't pair. Now, again, like I say, if we repeat this coming season, which we plan on doing, and we run into the same problems, then okay, maybe that's it. I mean, it could be as simple as when she laid the eggs, half of them got too warm in development. When she was on them before I pulled them. I don't know. We don't know exactly when they lay them. It could have been something as simple as that, or it could be something more sinister. So, yeah, Anna, it really is. It really is a bummer. It's a beautiful snake. It really was. And I hate the fact that it happened. And this is one of the issues if you get into this and you're passionate about it, and if you do the social media thing. And what I mean is, you put yourself out there and you're so excited about something you've done. I am not going to be able to sit on those and hide it and not share what's going on with you guys in the world and be excited, for so long till I know everything's great. I don't have it in me, and I don't want to be that way because I also don't think that's the reality of ball python breeding. I think the reality of ball python breeding is successes and failures. More of the former than the latter. I mean, and still this year, as much of a bummer as some things are, we've had a lot more success than we have failures. I mean, all those babies hatched healthy. They all took full term incubation. That's good. Uh, After that, not so good. We've had a few more developmental issues. We think we pinned that down to moving and transporting the eggs and everything. So we kind of have an attack plan, which even on great years, I'm always making an attack plan to improve. If you remember, last year was great. We did 95% hatch rate, which is something that's usually kind of my goal, which is a lofty goal. And we were still looking at ways to improve our incubation, to push past that. So we are doing some things, and that's just kind of part of the course. However, I wanted to let you guys know when I found that what my plan was, uh, for 2 reasons. One, so you're not wondering what's going on. Two, I guess 3 reasons, just for full disclosure. And then three would be to really kind of say, we are aware when we have something that's going on, we're not immune to it, and we want to make sure it's right before we try to send it off. We can't prevent everything, but we're going to do our best. And to answer your question, Caden, that clutch was one that immediately after I moved causes drama. Yeah, it is. Now I believe she laid her eggs prior to the move. I'd have to really go back and look, but that's clutch number 9, and I want to say Malbino was the first one to lay here. But honestly, guys, I'm going by memory on that. So I'm pretty sure she laid and then was moved. That's why, I'm just kind of curious if maybe some didn't get too hot or didn't get rolled or whatever, she could have done before we got there, just because it's kind of strange. Or, it's just one of them things that can unfortunately happen. However, this is also why we keep notes. Right now, at this size, I could track most of it up here. If, oh, well, she had a rough year last year, and I could figure that out when I redid this pairing if it was a thing. However, when we get to where we're doing 100 females, which our goal is to be doing about 120 females a year, there's no way I'm going to remember that from year to year. But then if I have a snake that has a really bad year and has something weird like that happen, and it's going to happen again, right? It's going to, the longer I'm in this business, the more bad things will happen. But also the more good things will happen, right? Uh, I'll be able to go back and look and say, okay, yeah, she had a rough year this year, but we've never had that incident. What about that male? As other females he's paired have the same problem? Do I have an issue with the male? Is this an isolated incident, or is this something I'm seeing every time I put those two together? And that's how you're going to kind of figure it out. First year females always kind of write them off as what happens happens because it's their first year. But an animal like that, she's given me healthy babies for a number of years without any real issue. So this is a first for her. And then Zeus, this is clutch number 2. The other one came first. It was clutch number 6, and it was fine. It was perfectly fine. One or two issues is normal. You'll have that occasionally. So it wasn't any out of the ordinary, and we didn't ever find any of them just randomly dead. Whereas in this case, we have. Hell, the one that we found was eating on its own, if you remember. So I do think there's something in the intestinal tract, or that's kind of just having issues with some of those. My hope is if they kind of make it past a point with some growth, they get past it. And you have this in animals. Like my last Shih Tzu, not the one I currently have, she had a developmental issue that nobody knew about until she needed a surgery. And that was her intestinal walls were thicker than they should be. And she had to have a chunk of intestine removed. And the thickness of the walls made putting the intestines back together damn near impossible, causing a leakage, which eventually led to her death. Not that she was young, she wasn't, but those things happen, and sometimes they're going to go completely unnoticed, and sometimes things will get past it. So we'll see how the rest of these do, but I did want to be very upfront about clutch 9. Let you know my plan is to skip it, so we'll do 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, all the way on through until I feel good about clutch 9, if we ever feel good about it. And at some point, we'll film an update on it, whether we have anything to release or not. I also still plan on having a hold back from that clutch. So understand that if I get them past that, I'm still going to feel confident enough to keep on myself, if that makes any sense. So, any questions on that? And Canes, I'm going to get to yours too. I want to answer them if you guys have them so we can make sure we're all on the same page and kind of talk about it. Because, yes, Olympus is my business, but it's yours too. And everything we do is, related to what you guys do for us. So I want to be very, very open with you, and your input truly does matter. Okay, Caden, you had another question that said, in the other room, there's a pond looking thing. What is that? That's Sobex Caves. That big pond you see is the largest pond I could buy at Menards. Like a big koi pond you usually put outdoors, and that's where the dwarf caiman resides. We're gonna add some more heat in there that he needs, and then and he's been an asshole. Like once we moved him, he just really has he got a lot more space. He had really outgrown his cage, if I'm completely honest. It got pushed back the build to do this. We were going to build something different, and this chance came up, and we had to kind of just wait on that. So he set for longer than I wanted to. Well, we knew this was a possibility in getting this done. And then he was the first thing we moved over here. So one of the first things anyway. Excuse me. But he had so much fat reserve that he just, when he first moved, he didn't want to eat. He's very territorial in his new pond. He's got a lot more space. A lot more. So he's just kind of a dick. He has eaten for me in there, but he never does it in front of me. I have not gotten to see him eat in his new enclosure, and he's been in there probably 7 or 8 months. But he does eat when he wants. Sometimes eats parts of things. Sometimes he eats a whole thing. Sometimes he buries it. That was fun. But so he is doing croc things. I think I just need to heat him up some more, but he broke his heater, so we have a new one to install. And my hope is to get him back where we can use him for filming. And if not, then we'll just show pictures of him occasionally and let him be. Because I didn't get him to be a film star. I got him because I always wanted one. That's who's in there. All right, guys. So Do you have any questions about Clutch 9 or any thoughts? Or if you've heard of this before, I'm all ears. Clutch 9, what is all left? Oh, geez. Well, I know I have a really small, and this one was born small, so it's even a struggle bus anymore. Straight up Xanthic. I have the Super Pastel Xanthic. I have an Xanthic Spider. I have a Killer Bee Head Xanthic, I think. We've lost at this count, I want to say, the Killer Zebra Bee. We lost that one. We lost, I believe it was a straight Xanthic and a Bumblebee Head Xanthic. And now the Zebra. So about half. Dude, Anna, that'd be great. I mean, because, I have no idea, truthfully. I mean, I'm going off of speculation and thought processes and things. I mean, I know it's something intestinal GI. The reason I know that is because we had the one with the obvious leakage, and then this one, I'd fed it like, again, assist fed, like a little pinky mouse, like very small, a little bit of a, like, you might be getting almost like a little bit of a fuzzy mouse, not rat here. And of course, I found it regurgitated and bloated. They bloat sometimes when they do that. And the snake passed away. And I checked it the last day and it looked fine. I mean, it was coiled up, hiding its little head from me. We'd moved it to paper towels just because it's one that, it just seemed like I've been worried about it for a while. I talked to Anna about it a little bit because I knew it was one that she was really had her eyeball on. We've had to assist it in pooping before. So it has pooped. It just seemed like it didn't have a lot of muscle strength back there and would kind of look bloated. I'd have to kind of give it a massage, and a very easy massage, and it was clearing out. And it wasn't anything that was like a hard belly, which I've dealt with that before too. Not really this year to any major extent, but we did a video on it once. And yeah, Lindsay, the heat tape in the baby racks is working. I mean, I actually did go through and feel those rows. I tried moving things around in there, and all of those things. And then two, I did kick their heat up just a bit, seeing if that wouldn't also help to spur some of the feeds in there. So that is something we did check, absolutely. And Megan, the way you're going to do that is right now, we need to put it in a list together here soon, but there's not really a lot that's going to be on it because most of it is sold. But we will be doing, I know we're going to film a clutch release. The plan is this weekend. And that'll be clutch release number 8, which will contain, I want to say there's only 4 babies ever in that clutch, 4 and a slug, if I remember correctly, was what got laid, something like that. But we hit the odds pretty good. We got 1 straight lesser, I believe, and 3 GHI pastels, which are really smoking hot looking. And they're all, they're over there and they're all eating good. And so, and also too, back to the baby rack question, the ones that have passed away weren't all even in the same rack. So the clutch 9, just because the size of it was spread between 2 racks. And then also my holdback was in a 3rd rack. And so we've actually lost 1 from each rack. Oh, I understand, Megan. And what we'll do is when you see the clutch update video pop on YouTube, then the following video on Patreon will be the one we release it. And usually those videos go bang, bang, but I know notifications always happen. So on those days, we'll post a YouTube video morning to early afternoon, and we'll make a Patreon post saying, hey, watch the video at this specific time. And we'll post the video within a few minutes of the time we say. So that way, everybody gets a chance to get to it. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's a Patreon change. It is not letting YouTube post videos right now. So I cannot post the video in the link section, have it pop up with a thumbnail. I'm having to do it in the comments, but they're probably fighting. I'll figure it out. So any other questions or thoughts on this clutch or what you guys think we ought to do? No, Joey, so what we do on shipping is we charge actual cost shipping. So whatever they charge me, we round up to the nearest dollar, and that's what we charge. We don't charge any extra for boxing or anything like that. Shipping is actually usually more than $50, so people will do a flat rate shipping to try to make it a better deal, I guess. But it usually all factors out pretty normal. So it all just kind of depends. Larger boxes being more than smaller boxes, obviously. But I'd say the average is about $54 to $58 for a 7x7x7 box. Now, depending on what membership level you're at, and I can't see that here, we do some flat rate shippings on $25, and then uh, top levels will have like so many free shipments a year too. So there are ways to alleviate that shipping cost. That's really why that $10 level is such a good deal if you're going to be buying snakes, because you can buy them and have a $25 flat rate shipping on a small box and a $35 flat rate shipping on a big box after 6 months. And that, I mean, honestly, if you get 2 shipments a year, that's, half your membership. So, or better. And yes, Joy, you can. We can just get about 3 snakes in a box. So, and Lindsay, I haven't. I just, sorry, and it could be it. I doubt it. I probably maybe could, but I'm pretty confident in it being a development issue. And I think if we do that, that's what I'm going to find. And I don't think it would clear an answer. Um, you know, and necropsies tell you why something died, you know, but they don't give you a solution. And so, like, typical we do is, we've lost now in our entirety of our career 1 adult ball python. That's all I've ever lost in 5 years, and that was actually this year. It was one that I produced that she laid her first clutch, and then that was it, right? And yeah, actually, Megan, if you're picking it up, then you don't have any shipping fee. Just come get it. Uh, but that adult, what I did with that was one that I thought, okay, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if this is just an isolated thing and shit happens. So I took it and I put it in the freezer where it's actually still located, and I froze it to preserve it, with the thought that if I had another adult have problems and pass, that I would end up taking both of them in for necropsy. Because at that point, I would be worried about a communicable disease. I have something to run through my collection I need to deal with, some things I need to isolate, things like that. But a single isolated incident, I'm not. And I kind of look at that clutch because it's all from birth on having the same problem as an isolated incident within that clutch. So I'm not worried about a communicable disease or anything I can cure. And even if they were to do a necropsy and tell me, hey, the cause of death was X in the GI tract, which is obviously something in the digestive tract because we've had now a rupture and a regurge, all of it with it, and then the problems passing poop. It would not tell me if it was something to do with the pairing or anything like that. And yes, we are repeating the pairing. Pairing, actually, we've already started doing that. So we've already walked down that path anyway. However, what I'll tell you is if we have the same problems this year that we are in 2020, we had in 2019, then we'll stop that pairing. I'll still use the female because, again, I know she's good, but I do think you can have a problem. You can have a great female and a great female or male and still have a problem in the pairing. It doesn't mean the pairing's always going to be good. And I've actually seen that, where I've got snakes where I have a proven male, a proven female, and they'll never produce together. So we go to a different route. So what I would do is simply take that pastel het axanthic. I still really want to use her because I know the quality of the baby she throws. And I would simply, instead of using Zeus to her, I would use a different male. And I haven't moved the incubator yet, Chad, because it still has eggs in it. So we are still waiting on the clutches to hatch. I've got 1 clutch in there waiting to shed out, and then I think 3 clutches waiting to hatch, and 1 clutch I'm incubating in a smaller incubator here. And as soon as they're all out, we'll move the incubator. So I want to get that moved over here. That way, this coming season, everything's here. We're not transporting eggs or anything like that. So, yes. Although, man, I'd have to look. I'd have to look back to see if I moved those eggs. I may have. That may have been the first ones I moved, actually. I can't really remember. God, it'd make sense if it was, because everything we've moved has fought me a little bit or thrown me some deformities or been a pain in my ass. So moves are hard. Moves are hard. But, and the bummer is we tried to avoid it by moving them when we reset the tub. Yeah, and it very well could be in there. I mean, it did hatch, Christopher. It did hatch. They're the ones I'm waiting to shed out. So what happened on that clutch? And is so the super black pastel still kinked up, right? So that is lower temperatures is an urban legend. Even if you lower the temp and you seal the incubator and the temp is solid and it's just the whole time, which that one should have been, you are not going to get a better success rate, I don't believe, with doing that. It's just not. Somebody probably did it once and it worked, and then it said this is the way it works, and they passed it through. And then I saw this didn't work, so we tried to add in the stability of incubation to prevent incubation spikes. Doesn't change a thing. The good news is on that clutch, though, every other baby hatched out healthy. So it just took for frickin' ever. And we hit the odds really, really well. We have, I think, one banana, one black pastel. I want to say the rest are banana black pastels. So we did really good. And the other thing that's really cool, I think this is part of the result of incubating a little cooler. And I probably will incubate all my clutches a little cooler next year, but probably not that cool. Probably go from about 90 down to about 89, uh, maybe 89 and a half. We won't run right up to 90. They were all massive. Like we had really big babies from that clutch. With one, we had one that left early and didn't absorb all of the choke. But the rest of them were like, I mean, I can't wait to get him here and put him on a scale. There's one I bet it's 100 grams. I mean, it looked like it was born like just bleh, like a sausage fat. So fat that when I first saw it, I thought we had a deformity until it got to crawling and it was just super full. But no, the super black pastel it was so kinked it didn't survive. Like when we cut the eggs, it was alive and doing well. And looking in the egg, it looked pretty good until everything else was poking its head out and it really wasn't. So I kind of manipulated around to see what was going on. And it was kinked up in the neck and fused. So at that point, it was donezo. So yeah, it would not make it for a pet. The kinks were in. It wasn't a little kink. It was a complete kink. So, and I don't know if we have females or males yet. It is from a male maker. So I would expect all males, but as you guys know, we've thrown several females. But they're really, really neat. I dig those, man. Banana black pastels they're just awesome. So it did hatch, I guess is what I was saying. And that was, you couldn't have done that in a better way. So we'll go from there. I mean, we'll see what flies with it. And Anna, you mentioned your vet. Are they like a reptile specialist, or what exactly are they? And I'm not doubting them. I'm just curious. And we'll show them as soon as we get them over here. Once they shed out, they'll move over here. I expect them to be very, very well. I will say the black pastel is the meanest bastard I've ever seen. It is horrible. It is trying to bite me from day one. Every time I check the other babies, it's like so it's a dick. But otherwise, it's doing really well. Okay, and I mean, the only thing on the genetic is I wonder if it's something with those two together, because like I say, they both produced well outside of there. So kind of a interesting thing, but we'll see how the rest of those do, and if they make it, sweet, and if not, then it is what it is. We kind of already committed to redoing that clutch this year, and the last thing I'd want to do is dual sire it and then not really know what I was sending out. So Megan, yeah, male coral glow, male banana. First of all, those are going to be interchangeables. Coral glow, banana, same thing, different name. And when I say investing in, it depends on the price, obviously. I think they're a great breeder animal. I think bananas sell very well. They're very pretty snakes. They're easy to move. You don't have a hard time selling them. It is a sex-linked gene, so you're going to have more males and females. Is it a baby? And I'd say no, honestly. I wouldn't do it at 350 just because usually you can get males for a lot cheaper than that. Typically, a male coral glow banana is going to be about $200. And even if it's an adult male at 350, because you can get a male ready in usually about a year. That's a little on the high side. If it was an adult male, a proven breeder, I might be okay at 250 if it was a really nice example. But otherwise, I mean, I probably wouldn't. See, there you go. Lindsay got one for 150 shipped last year. I think that's probably too cheap. No offense, Lindsay. I'm glad you got a good deal. And here's where I kind of base my prices off of, guys. Like I'll look at Morph Market and get an idea I'm not always trying to be the cheapest guy in the morph market. I'm not always trying to be the most expensive by any stretch of the imagination. But I also look at, you know, going in there and then what can I get at a show? And if I were to take that animal to a show, you know, then, and that's a really good deal on the banana pie, I think, Chad. I know just the last time I did a Denver show, I think we were selling those for almost twice that. Those weren't my animals. I was selling for somebody else, and we sold them all in hours. Um, why would I take something and sell it at 150 when I have to pay $55 shipping? So I'm really selling it at 95, taking the risk of shipping it and hoping FedEx doesn't screw it all up. When I could, you know, I could just take that animal to a show and get 175 for it. I mean, why would I do that? So that's kind of where a lot of my pricing base comes out of. If that makes sense. That is a steal, a total steal. That's a good price on the banana pin. Female. I think 450 on that's a good price. I mean, it's just one of those things. Well, what are you trying to? What are you working on there, Trisha? I mean, I'll try to help you out as best I can. Yeah, and that's simple, but the het clown part makes a huge difference there, right? I mean, and it's also a proven female. So when you're talking proven, proven males, the balls are doing great, Chad. Proven males, they don't. There's not a big value increase on a proven male from a baby male. On a proven female, though, there is. There's a huge value increase. So I don't think that's anywhere too expensive on a proven female banana het clown, especially being proven het clown. I think 650 on that's probably a pretty good deal, actually. Yeah, I'm kind of with Lindsay on that. I think that's a good deal. I'd probably be, I want to say, a female maker male. Okay, but even then, I don't think you're hurting. And the reason I don't think you're hurting is, again, the het clown and the female maker. The fact that it's a female maker, and it's a proven female maker, that's a little different because females sell for more. So you're going to get more of your investment. And to the original question we had, if that's a proven female maker male at 350, then I'm okay with it, honestly. But if it's a male maker, I wouldn't be. Which is, I'm glad you brought that up because that does make a difference. Female banana pewter. And also, a leopard lesser spider fire. Whew. Male or female? That would be my next question. I mean, you got 4 genes in there. I'd say 3 are pretty common, and the lesser spider fire, the leopard's not near as common. So, I would look at some other leopard combos to kind of get that figured out. On that male, if you took the leopard out of it, just threw the leopard out of the equation. This is kind of how I'd look at that. Yeah, 225 is about where I'd say I was going to be. So Joey's spot on that. And then you're going to throw that leopard in there, right? And I think that leopard's going to double that at least. I think you could probably be at least 400, probably start at 450 on that and see what happens. I don't think you're going to be off. That may be a little on the low side. I don't know. But you're going to be close to the ballpark, because I think, again, what Joey said, he took the words right out of my mouth about 225. That's right about where I would have been. So anyway, yeah, there you go. We can price that for you. We'll help you do that. And it also depends on where you're pricing it at. And that's another thing. So, if you're selling online, if that's the first snake you're selling, I think it's hard to sell a fairly expensive snake. And to me, that's still a fairly expensive snake, okay? Online, if people can't look into you and find out more about you and feel comfortable. At a show, I think that's pretty easy. So to do. The reason being is people can see the animal. They're there. They're in person. You can build that rapport and that trust a lot quicker because they can talk to you. So if you had a show, you'd probably be able to do that pretty easy. Or locally, I think you could probably do that. Online, it might take you a little longer. But straight to leopard clown. There you go. Shipping sucks. I still hate it. I do it all the time, but it doesn't mean I like it. It makes me nervous. And those of you who've got snakes, a lot of you have me buy. Oh, have you opened it yet? Is it okay? Leopard lemon blast. See, the only thing I have leopard is a straight, it's just a straight pastel leopard. But let me check it. All normal. Ugh, I've been there. So we have a straight leopard, female leopard pastel, pairing to the Blitz. So we are going to try to put that together because I believe it'll blow the rings out really big. Let me see. I don't think this is a mom to the angry clutch right now. You can see she's massive. She's breeding again. We'll see what it does. But we do have some cool pairings going on right now. She's not linked up. See if we can get anybody breeding for you to get excited about. Oh, look, they're not breeding, but the female's certainly trying. The female is a bumblebee head xanthic, or something else in there too. I'm not sure what though for sure. And that's of course our one-eyed trouser. I'm really hoping most of this is to get another meal in her, but I think that's going to work. Nothing going there yet. Of course, the male's not in there. You can see he's trying. Boy, we're not doing so good showing you stuff today, huh? Nope, nothing going there but a shed. I did check on the Suma earlier, and he looked like he was trying. I gotta figure out where I stuck him. But we ain't got anything happening there yet. But we have had tons of pairings happening. I promise it doesn't look that way right now. But these guys have been pairing several times. It looks like they're done. And see what I mean? The messiness. They just make urate all over the place. Looks like those guys are finished up. Man, it's almost time to move stuff around a little bit. But yeah, calico darkens leopard, huh? And the tail pattern doesn't surprise me. So just because calico seems to do that in the tail pattern, it's usually I can identify calico even on things that cause it not to express very well. You can still see it there. That pairing stopped. I'm really looking to see if I can find anybody locked up right now. We had a bunch of people locked up. No, we're not getting as many. Here's a male train. That'll be a fun pairing. I shouldn't say a male train, that's a female train. And this girl here, if she gets back to size, of course, that is Hestia. We'll probably put her to the Het Clown. See if we can't do some Het Clown stuff there. So anyway, I won't keep you guys too long and bore you too much. So if you got any other questions, hit me up really quick. If not, I'll probably hop off of here. Oh man, a 4-month-old? It just depends. I've had some 4-month-old that are still like trying to get to the 80 to 100 gram mark. I mean, that would be the unusual smaller side, fighting your ones born small. And then I've also got some that are 4 months old that are 175. So it just, or so. So it just depends. And Chad, what I would do on your incubator is make an incubation tub the way you plan on setting it up, because your temperature incubator doesn't really matter. What matters is the temperature in the incubation tub. And test your temperatures in an incubation tub, because with the moisture that's in there, they can be different than what is in the actual ambient temperature of the incubator. And I would shoot for somewhere around 89. 90 is the highest you want to go. You don't want to get up past 90. That gives you about a degree of, swing. 91, you're not going to kill anything, but I wouldn't want them there that long. So 90 is the hottest I'd go. I really wouldn't ever go cooler than about 87. So that's what I would say. A powerhouse male, Megan? What do you mean on a powerhouse male? Usually I'm talking about a powerhouse male. I'm talking about a male with multiple genes that has a lot going on. And I'm not sure, looking back so I can see what you posted, I might have missed a comment. Maybe. So that is usually what we mean when we say a powerhouse male. I'll give you a good example of a male, like 4 genes. Yeah, that'd be a good powerhouse male, Our Lemon Blast Scaleless Head, I would say, is kind of a powerhouse male. It's only 3 genes, but they're genes that are, you know, one of them's a highly sought after gene, plus some kicker genes and things like that are always good. Um, your Super Vanilla Mojave too, shit, whatever you want. The nice thing with that is if you did bells, for people who want to breed, you know the vanilla's there. So you could do like, a vanilla bell kind of thing. Oh, you did not eat this week. Well, that's a bummer. Brr, you need to eat this next time. I'm talking to this little guy. It didn't eat. I'll show it to you. It's been eating really good though. Just skipping this week. Other ones I would say are a powerhouse male would be something like this. I'm trying to get to size, which is a pastel lesser visual desert ghost. That would be, again, 2 genes plus something extremely sought after. And we did buy a lot of males for that purpose this season. This one here, which is, and he's getting there rather rapidly. And the color doesn't really, it's on my camera anyway, kind of bleeding him out. But he is a pastel super inchy, uh, so a pastel super inchy vanilla ghost. And what makes that a powerhouse is one, you've got the recessive, so everything's going to be at least het in the ghost. So you can put the things and make hets, but then you also have pastel, which is just a really basic gene, but it's nice to have in there. The super inchy, so you're giving everything ghost and everything inchy, a possibility of pastel and a possibility of vanilla. So you're guaranteeing 2 genes from dad, and you've got 2 possibilities in there. So it's definitely, yes, and that's true, Christopher. It is like, very, very true on powerhouses relative to your projects. So for our ghost project, this thing's going to kick that up a notch because you think of that paired with something down the road like, I believe it is, uh, wait a minute, is that the one I want to show off? Probably something like that, and you're going to do some really great things. You're going to be able to just make some super nice animals. Again, but what he's talking about being, I'll give you another example. So this is a powerhouse male. Now it's an ivory inchy, so you've got guaranteed yellow belly to pass on and possible inchy. So you're not thinking, well, why is it powerhouse? Like Chris said, it kind of depends on your project, right? But I take that and I stick it to this thing here, and it's a powerhouse because it's going to give me nothing but allelic combos. Everything's going to be either ivory with a possibility of super pastel, right? Because that is got, what I say all was in there? I have to think about it now. Inchy and ivory. So sorry, no super pastel. But you'll have inchy ivories, which we won't be able to tell. Pastel ivories, freeways, right? Pastel freeways, and Mardi Gras, and pastel Mardi Gras. So yes, powerhouse is definitely depending on the project you're working and how well it advances said project. Right. Uh, and exactly, that's exactly the point. So that's a very valid point. What a powerhouse is really dependent on what you're doing with it. For me, Zeus is a huge powerhouse, although he may have had one this year. We'll see, but because again, the Xanthic stuff, my super pastel Xanthic male, I held back, huge powerhouse. So, which one is that, Megan? That doesn't weigh enough. The multiple gene animal. The best thing to do is just feed it. I mean, 600 grams for a male is where I really like to be. Like this is one I wish was ready, but it's just not. And so I also am not going to rush it. I mean, it's a 2018 male. If it gets there, sweet. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I've got plans for it, which is that one's a super pastel Xanthic. So anyway, guys. Oh, the champagne. Uh, just feed it. I mean, find something that's willing to eat. If it's not taking big meals, don't hesitate to try a small meal. Food in is going to get it there, and it may get there this season, and it may not. I've even got one male who was another one I use a lot. Kind of consider. Oh well, at 4 months, you're not going to get him there for a while anyway. Even if he's super small, just make sure he's eating healthy if you've got him. And then just keep feeding him regular, and just you have to be patient. As much as I hate to say that, it's just going to take some time. All right, guys. Unless you got a few more questions to hop off of here, we've been at this for about 45 minutes. I honestly only meant to be on about 10 minutes today, but I got to chit chatting with you, and truth be told, it made me feel better. But my wife should be home, and she wrote something down wrong on her calendar, so she's having to leave. And I would say once a week, just once a week, and it'll get there. You know, if you really want to go with the baby, you can do every 5 days, but I wouldn't go twice a week. I mean, I'm not gonna say I've never done it when I found spare stuff. I have, but it shouldn't be something you do all the time. And that's huge, Chad. That's doing great. That's big, big, big boy. You know, like I say, it's hard to say this is the weight they should be because it all is relative to the size it was born, how well it took off, all kinds of things. You know, they'll get there when they kind of get there. Some are going to take longer than others. It's kind of like people hitting puberty. Some guys are going to do it fast, some people are going to take longer. You know, bigger, yes, but you again, I still would say just something the size around he is appropriate meal. I do once a week on my babies, even just because it's easier. Uh, you know, and I'm just not going to rush them. You know, it's just even if I want to. Sometimes I really, really want to. Like I really want that ghost I showed you to be ready because I've got 3 ghost females that are ready. Uh, you know, I'd love to be using him, but I'm not. You know, so it kind of sucks. So just they'll get there though. They'll get there. But anyway, she like I say wrote down something wrong in her calendar. Thought she was leaving next week, and she's actually leaving this weekend, and she's leaving tomorrow. So I'm gonna go home and try to see her, at least tell her good night, so that way I can see her for a few minutes before she leaves. All right, guys. I appreciate all of you. And again, sorry, Clutch 9 ain't working out the way we all hoped it would. Them's breaks, man. And this is part of the sad part about sharing things early. Then when things don't go well, you know, you got to let people know. If I were to hide all that, then I wouldn't have to. But it's not who we are. So, all right, guys, we'll see you later.